Welcome to NinjaCast, a photography podcast powered by Studio Ninja, the world's highest rated business management app, built specifically for photographers. Listen and learn as the most successful photographers on the planet share their knowledge to help you transform every element of your photography business. Here's your host, Sally Shaw.
Hi guys, welcome to NinjaCast. Today I am joined by the amazing Anna Pumer of Kick-Ass Photographers. I'm really excited about this one. Anna is the queen of branding and injecting your personality into your work, so I can't wait to hear the hints and tips that she's got to share with us today. Let's get started. Hi Anna, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm a little bit excited about this one.
Yay, me too.
So for our listeners out there, Anna, that might not have heard of you or Kick-Ass Photographers, can you tell us a little bit more about you, your journey in the industry, kind of take us right back?
Okay, so I've been doing wedding photography for about 8 years. Started as a journalist and then quit that job and became a wedding photographer, quite random. And just sort of built it up from there. And about 5 years ago, I started Kick-Ass Photographers, which was, it started off as workshops, so in-person workshops. That was really fun. And it was like a Facebook group as well. And I kind of developed it into lots of different things. I made a course last year in how to have an amazing website, basically. And I feel like everything I've done has been around sort of getting dream clients, loving your job, all that sort of thing. So I've now started a membership as well, because, I like the sort of community, the social side of things.
Yeah.
And so, the membership I launched about 6 weeks ago, and it's just amazing. It's so much fun. So that's been my sort of latest thing. And the membership's just been, just the best. Like, it's this great group of photographers, mainly wedding photographers. And it's just like I do tutorials on, I run my business through the membership, basically. Like whatever I'm doing, I'll teach about top tips. I'll do behind the scenes at weddings I've been at and debriefs at weddings, and we do little Zoom get-togethers like tea breaks and stuff like that, and like expert interviews and stuff, and basically anything I think that's interesting for my audience. And Kick-Ass Photographers is all about, like, the ethos is all about enjoying your job, loving what you do, having free time, having great clients who love you. And the membership and the course and everything I do is built around that. And because that's how I run my business. And I couldn't love it more doing my wedding photography business with all these clients who are just so wonderful. And I love what I do. And you hear in all these Facebook groups that people, like photographers, are quite unhappy with certain situations. I'm like, it's all about how you build your business to get the right kind of people to not have those sort of negative situations. So I've kind of built this lovely sort of community of people who have the same, mindset.
Yeah, definitely. So let's just jump back to journalism. So you started in journalism.
I did.
What on earth made you go, I'm going to be a wedding photographer?
It was my ex-boyfriend, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went on holiday on this Trek America trip.
Yeah.
It was a couple of weeks around Canada, around the Rockies, camping trip with a bunch of random strangers. It was amazing. And I bought my first DSLR to take pictures on this trip. I like taking pictures on my little Lumix snappy camera.
Yeah.
But I bought this DSLR. I had no idea how to use it, no idea about what was good about DSLR or anything. Took this camera and I really enjoyed taking pictures of the landscape and the people that we were also traveling with. I liked taking pictures of them. And my now ex-boyfriend was on the trip. That's how we met. And he was like, oh, you're really good at taking pictures of people. You're really good with people. You should be a wedding photographer. I was like,
it's like that.
Yeah. He's a web developer, like nothing to do with wedding photography, but he just he had this almost random comment.
Epiphany.
Yeah. And I was like, that sounds fun. That sounds like me. Like, I'm not a 9-to-5 office person. So doing journalism, I was editing magazines, and it was just, you go into London every day, you come home every day, and it was just like working for someone else all the time. Wasn't very creative, wasn't very fun. And so I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. And it just took off, and it was mad. And I think I've always done things my way. So I started off just doing things my way, however I wanted to do it, and it just went really well. And I think at that time it was, the Emma Cases, the Sassies, the people like that who were all a bit alternative, but not many. And I was like, I'm kind of like that too. So it was quite easy to build this kind of alternative business. And now, yeah, we're sort of exploding with that now, aren't we? But I think that helped at the beginning, that I was sort of just a bit different, I think. And I just loved it. I quit my job pretty quickly.
Wow, what a journey. That sounds absolutely fantastic to just go, yeah, I'm going to give that a shot. Why not?
That's it. I think life is too short not to be like, what the hell? I'm just going to try something. Like with my membership this year, I thought of it and I thought, oh, membership sounds like a lot of work. Don't know if I can do it. Like I see other people running memberships and they're always present. They're always there. And I thought, oh, I don't know. As soon as I started, I was like, I love this. I thought, you just jump in, just do it. Just start it. See, I didn't have any ideas of what it would be. And so I just started it, opened it up. People came in. I was like, what do you want? And that's it. And it's been a success. Just like with the wedding photography, you kind of just have to like jump in feet first, don't you, with things like that.
You've got to have that fear to make things truly work, haven't you? It's like when people leave their full-time job to become a wedding photographer, and I don't think you actually, you don't actually get that fear until you've cut that tie and you've gone, this has to work now. Like I have no other choice. Exactly.
So that's exactly what I had. Yeah, leaving that full-time job. I mean, I guess I didn't even feel fear. I just thought, I'm going to make this work. Yeah. And that was it.
Love it.
I've actually had a lot of people in the membership since joining quit their jobs.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
3 people quit their jobs in the 6 weeks it's been running, and it's just so exciting.
Oh, congrats to them, whoever you are, well done.
I know. Well, it turned out one of the members had the coolest job. He's a tea blender. He makes teas. So he made us a kick-ass blend. We've got our own tea.
No way.
Yeah. How cool is that?
That's amazing.
I'm gonna order a bunch of it and send it off to people when they join.
Here's a tea bag.
It's chocolate biscuit flavour, of course.
Oh my God, this sounds so good.
That's it. Like I'm all about having fun and just like enjoying life. So that worked quite well. But yeah, we've had a few people quit their jobs, and it's just so nice that they feel liberated to be like, yes, I can do this.
Yeah, definitely. They have that like support network behind them. They feel like, exactly. I'm not on my own, which is a really common feeling in the industry, isn't it? You can just, you're surrounded by 4 walls quite often, whether it be, a coffee shop wall when we're not with COVID and things like that.
Yeah.
Or, your office walls or your living room walls. It can be a lonely place to be sometimes, can't it? When you're just rabbiting away, doing your editing and your emails and your admin.
And you're like, you second guess yourself, like, am I doing this right? Am I doing it wrong? Yeah. There's no one to bounce off. Yeah. So that's the thing, like, people are posting, like, there's only, I think, about 50 people in the membership versus about, like, 2,500 in my Facebook group. But the membership is every day, people posting, and it's so alive, whereas the Facebook group is much quieter. And it's like, I think having that smaller group of people who are really dedicated has made it come alive, and everyone's always in there feeling part of something, feeling like they've got these colleagues and friends to bounce off of. And it's really important, I think. Yeah,
for sure. So tell us a little bit more about the membership. Like, kind of give us a bit of a tour. What does it involve? Okay. What do people need to do?
Basically, it's not like a course. It's not a roadmap through your business or anything like that. I don't work in that way. I work in a way where I'm like, I've had this great idea and I think people are going to find it interesting and useful, so I'll make a video on it. Or I'll film a behind the scenes of me shooting a wedding and I'll do a voiceover talking about what I did at the wedding, or I'll interview people on things. I interviewed one of the members yesterday, actually, on upselling, because he was one of my students. He came to a workshop like 4 years ago of mine, and he is nailing upselling, and I learned so much from him. I'm changing the way I work now as a result, and it's just like these light bulb moments. So I like the membership's all about these little light bulb moments. It's not about a roadmap to your business. It's about you come in, you feel liberated, you feel good, you feel part of something. I think liberation is a big one too, because we say to people, if you don't want to do Instagram, it's not working for you, don't do it. That sort of thing. Or this is something that hasn't worked for me. Or I did my most popular video in the membership was one about rejection and how I got rejected for 4 weddings in 4 days. And just making people feel like, they're not alone. We're all going through these things, good and bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like that. And it's on a platform called Mighty Networks, which is like Facebook, but better. So it's not like a big course platform. It's like a feed, and everyone posts in there. And I put my videos into sort of featured sections so they can watch all the videos. But it's just very sociable, and just really easy to use. And it's all in one place. And all the members say they actually check that in the mornings before they check Facebook, which is quite nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we have our little tea breaks and stuff. So I'll get togethers every couple of weeks, and I'm trying to plan maybe a real life get together as well, so we all feel sort of part of something. But yeah, it's basically, it's really relaxed. It's like, it's your community, it's your team, it's your wedding photography team. And you feel part of something, you feel good about yourself, you don't feel alone. And that's kind of, the whole thing behind it, really.
I love that. So for anybody that hasn't met you before, Anna, or isn't aware of you via Facebook, online, all that side of things, you are like the queen of branding and website and just kicking ass, really. So, evidently that's where Kick-Ass Photographers came from. So for photographers that might just be starting out or they're just kind of stepping into the industry, what are your top tips for starting a business in this whirlwind?
I made some notes. I'm going to check my notes because I don't want to miss anything here. I would say, actually, one thing I have found among newer photographers is that they don't treat it like a business. They treat it like a passion. Oh, it's my passion. I'm a creative. I'll do this for free. I'll do that for cheap. I'll offer a discount before anyone even asks for it. I'll do whatever. I'll give them the world. They don't say no to anything. They don't know what they want. You've got to think about what makes you happy. And will doing this cheap job for a non-ideal client that you're not going to enjoy, where will that get you? Don't say yes to it if it's not going to be your sort of thing. So you've got to treat it like a business. I think that's the thing about creatives. We don't treat it like a business. And I think that's where I come in, because I was not a creative. Like, I'm a creative person, but I wasn't always destined to be a photographer or an artist or anything like that. I thought of it like a business. I charged $1,400 from the off. I said no.
Like, that's often unheard of in the industry, isn't it? People always come in and they think, oh, I'll start off low, like you say, and whether that's because they just want to get booked, or whether it's that fear that, I'm new, and what if I screw it up, or what if
and
I
the
don't
fear leads you to, that's the thing, that fear leads you to then being desperate. And that's not attractive anyway to any clients, is it? Like, desperation's not attractive. So even from the start, if I'm saying I'm 1,400, here are all the photos I've taken, not many, this is me, and people booked me for it. I got booked up in my first year because I was confident in what I was doing, and I wasn't just giving everything away. And I think it does show when you're just desperate, and it is not attractive to people. They don't want to book you when you look like you really need their work. But if you're picky about it, then people want you more. If you have a niche, if you have a specialty, a USP, something that makes you the expert, then people want you more and you can charge more. So you've got to treat it like a business. I think that's just the best piece of advice I could give on that.
Yeah, I love that one, definitely. I think everybody's probably guilty of that at some time or another when they're just starting out, aren't they? You step into this big wide industry and you just think, wow, there's so many of us, and there's equally so many weddings, there's so many potential, styles and niches that you can go for. It's like, where do you begin?
I think that's where people start thinking, oh, I'll do everything then. My thing will be everything for everyone. My ideal client, because I do ideal client training, very specific ideal client. They're like, my ideal client is just anyone who wants to pay me money and who is nice. I'm like, okay, so who's going to go, yes, this is the photographer for me? Literally no one. Whereas if you say, I only shoot for this sort of person, I only do this type of photography, and this is my USP and this is what's different about me, that one person will be like, they're speaking to me. This is the photographer for me. And
I've known them my whole life.
That's it. They'll pay anything. I've had people book me not knowing my prices, because you've just got to really sort of specialize, niche down, and be just one thing and be it really, really well.
I love that. That's a really, really good tip. So in terms of creatives then that are coming into the industry, they're looking to treat it like a business. How do they do that?
So I've got this sign behind me that says say yes more. I don't know if you can see that. I live by the whole say yes more thing. And saying yes means saying yes to yourself, not saying yes to everything. So the thing that they can do is say no to things that aren't working by saying yes to themselves. Know who you want to work for. Have this ideal client in your mind, give them a name, a face, everything. And if you get an inquiry through that really isn't that kind of person, that doesn't make you go, oh yes, this is great, then they're not going to be feeling that about you either. You're not going to enjoy it. It's not going to progress your career. So just say no. I think that's the easiest way to do that for a creative, is say no to anything that's not right. And if you're getting inquiries from the wrong kind of people, look at what's wrong. Maybe it's your website, maybe it's too general, maybe it's too boring, maybe it's too corporate. Look at what you put out of yourself. Maybe you're not putting any of yourself out there at all. So look at all aspects of your business and think, okay, where am I going wrong? What can I actually do to attract the right kind of people? So I'm saying yes to more things I'm more excited about these jobs that come in.
Love that. So yeah, you've already touched briefly there on kind of your website. That's like a photographer's shop window, isn't it? You know, it's often, obviously social media plays a big part in our, you know, a lot of people's marketing nowadays as photographers, but often that filters back to your website to actually put the inquiry through or look at your gallery in more detail, that kind of thing. So what can our listeners go away with today and literally implement for their website when they walk away from listening to this podcast?
So I was just having a little look at my notes because I've written all these things down. I would say for your website, I think I've got a course. I've got a whole course on making your website like kick ass. But the main thing I'd say is, as you know, there are so many wedding photographers. So to a lot of people, your work might look the same. Your prices are going to be similar. Everything's going to be similar. We all say the same freaking things these days as well. Like we all say exactly the same things as each other. So the one thing you can do is put more personality into it. So just put little jokes or your humor, your own tone of voice, you know, pictures of yourself, things that you love, make your branding just like whatever the hell you want it to be. Because your brand is you. It's everything that you put out there. And this is my like motto, be more Marmite. So
I love that.
You want people to come, you want the wrong people to come to your website and go, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are like, oh, my bounce rate is so high, everyone's leaving my website. I'm like, yeah, great. You want them to like go away because you only want that thin slice of people. Like, I don't want 100 inquiries a day. I don't want to have to field all those inquiries. I want only inquiries from people I've filtered down because my website is so Marmite that the right people are like, yes, we found the one. And so I put fart jokes on my website. I put a silly gif of us on the website. I put references and jokes and things, and I say certain things that would put off the wrong people.
Yeah.
And I make it a little bit more wacky to attract the right people. And so when they inquire, which I don't get many inquiries, but when they inquire, they're exactly right for me and they book because we've already had that connection. I've already sort of filtered them down. So yeah, it's like it's really easy to say be Marmite, but yeah, if you just don't play it safe, basically. Don't say all the things you think people want to hear. Mm-hmm. Don't say all the things that other photographers say. Say what you want to say. Say about how you really want to work. Like, just don't be afraid to put people off. People are so afraid of putting other people off and having people not like their work. I think there's this marketing guy, I've got his book here, Seth Godin. He says, if people aren't talking about you negatively, then you're not doing it right.
Mm-hmm. There's a thing, isn't there, among celebrities, like I can't think what it is now, like bad publicity is good publicity or something like that, or just publicity is publicity. Whatever you're being spoken about for, you're still being spoken about. So your name spreads, doesn't it?
And the right people it will resonate with, and those people are going to book you. They're more likely to book you. So inquiries isn't the goal. Bookings is the goal. Bookings with the right people is the goal. And so I do website reviews as well, and I see the same things written on them. I see the same everything on all of them, and I'm like, in their form, when they fill it in with all their details about themselves and what they're looking for, I'm like, there was so much personality in that form. I thought you were fab. Like, you made jokes about yourself, but you're like the most boring person ever on your website. Where is this person?
Yeah.
People second guess themselves too much. They don't just put themselves out there without thinking. And I'm like, I booked this person based on no photos, based on nothing apart from the stuff on their form. I'd book you because you sound great. I go to your website, I'm given photos, I'm given branding, and yet I'm not bothered because it's just not exciting. There's no you in there.
Yeah. Right. So the thing that our listeners can go and do is inject your personality into your website, left, right, and center.
Yeah, big time. I mean, it comes to a point where it could be too much, where it's like in jokes that no one will ever get.
Yeah.
And sounding cliquey, like you can't be part of my club. Then you don't want to go too far that it's like, I'm so awesome and I don't even want to know you. Like, it's got to be, it's got to resonate with people. But yeah, definitely.
Love that. So how can photographers focus on making their work stand out from other people? So we've talked about website, we've talked about, actually getting the nitty gritty of what you're saying and what your website looks like, but your work plays such a big part too as a photographer, right?
It does. I think for me, I've never copied anyone. I've never looked at someone's work and been like, right, that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. It's just been driven by what I'm inspired by, which is, people's personalities and stuff. So, and it's also my personality that comes into it too. So at a wedding, I get nice and close, I chat to people, and that brings out those sorts of photos. And so they're very me. There's people like Sam Hurd, who's incredibly creative, and he tries stuff. And everyone tries to copy Sam Hurd. And it's like, okay, I can see you've copied Sam Hurd. So maybe try things of your own. Play around, play with light, give yourself challenges.
Yeah.
Go out every day and just try different things and see what works. See what you're excited about. Get inspired by things that aren't wedding photographers or even photographers. Like my boyfriend this morning was saying about how he used to look at weird abstract art, and he used to make his photos into weird abstract art on Photoshop by scanning things in and stuff. It's like,
wow,
what excites you? Well, you know, you're a creative, so you know, we talked about the business side of it, think like a business, but at the same time, what makes you a creative person? Like for me, it's people. So I'm not very creative with like Sam Hurd style stuff. Like I can't do putting things in front and being all wacky with it and double exposures. I can't do that. I'm reactive. I'm like, oh, a moment. Oh, snap, 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 getting close.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, I'm going to look at the scene and think about what I can do. So you've just got to think about what is you, what excites you, why you do this, what you're driven by, and bring that, because like I said, like all these couples are going to go to these people's websites and be like, okay, it's more wedding photos. Like,
yeah.
What's the difference? So yeah, just there's always going to be someone who likes what you do.
I heard a great piece of advice once, a year or two ago, where someone said when you know, whether you're starting out in the industry or whether you've been in the industry donkey's years and you're looking for inspiration, there was one guy that said you take 6 different photographers and you take inspiration from each of them and you go, I love this and I love this and I love this. And you take all those little pieces that you love and put them into your own, and all of a sudden you've created something unique, because it's not like any one of those 6,
Yeah.
merge them all together. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I love the light that they used there, I love the composition that was used there, or I love the thing that they put in front of the lens there, or I love how close they got in when that person was crying there.
Yeah.
Like all those things combined, all of a sudden you've got your own style, haven't you?
I think you've got to be careful not to be derivative then, haven't you, I suppose? Like you don't want to be a bit of everyone. You want to try those things and then see how you can make it your own as well. So for me, if I did that, I'd still go to a wedding and just default to whatever it is that I do naturally. I wouldn't be able to think.
I think
I love the way
do though, don't they? Like I always think to myself, I see like all this off-camera flash stuff going on at like night, and I do a bit of that in my weddings. Like I do a bit of like nighttime portraits. I always have done, but then I see some and I'm like, Jesus, I need to try that. Like that looks amazing. And then I get to a wedding and I'm like, nope, stay safe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing. I guess it's like the difference between staying safe and kind of defaulting to your thing, because your thing might not be safe. It might feel safe to you, but it's
what you know, isn't it?
Yeah, and we think we always have to be different and crazy, but you know, maybe we should just. It's not being safe. It's just doing our own thing, and yeah, that's it. Like my being safe is just to get involved and chat to people and always have the camera up and always be shooting. But not everyone can do that, and not everyone does do that. So that's why people book me. So
I think that's a great thing that I always found with second shooting as well. You know, when I first started out, I was second shooting loads, and I used to love going to weddings with different photographers and seeing like one photographer be like up in close in the moments, like to the point where like they'd be speaking and the bride would be like here, and they're like, just carry on. You'd like they were so close. And then, but then you see those images and you're like, now I know why they got close. Like that's phenomenal. And then you go to another photographer and they're like shooting on a 70 to 200 and they're, you know, getting really candid, beautiful documentary stuff. And you're like, I want it all. I love it all.
I think I did that myself. Like in the first year or so, I did do that. I rented all the lenses, the 70 to 200. Oh, I did not like that. It was like, it's so heavy, it needs a monopod of its own.
Oh my God, kills your back.
Yeah, it's awful. And then I tried the 24-70 look, and it wasn't for me. I tried the 35. Like I've bought a 35 lens, I think 4 times now, and sent it back because it's just not me. And I'm like, but everyone uses it. And you know, things like that. You try these things and you think, no, it's not for me. So yeah, like you do watch these photographers, you do try it, and you've still got to work out like, is this leading me towards my own thing, or am I just trying to push to be like someone that I admire, rather than, because now I just shoot primes mainly on a 50. I've got my little Fujis, they're so small, and I like them because they're light, I can throw them around, it's not about the gear at all. Like I like them because they're small and light, and I use a pancake lens a lot of the time, and it's a 2.8 or something. Like it's not great, but it's like it gets me the photos I want. And I don't know anyone else who's really, you know, not thinking about their lenses and just wanting just a small thing that they can. I'd be happy on a snappy snap camera, I don't care. And so you've got to kind of dial it back and think, how do I work best? Like, how can I do my best work?
I saw, actually, in fact, we interviewed him on the show a little while ago. He was one of our first interviews, Neil Redfern. And he did a series where he stripped it back that far, that he went to using a children's like kiddie zoom camera. And took it to a wedding with him, and he shot it alongside shooting, you know, his normal stuff on his normal camera. And the images that came out of it, although not fantastic quality, you could so see that he was the one that shot them. There was still his shooting style there. Obviously, he'd edited them. They still looked, you know, if you put them next to the images that he shot on his own camera that day, they weren't massively dissimilar. So it really does just show that the gear isn't what it's all about. It's what's going for you.
I think that's a beginner issue, isn't it, as well? That they think, I've got to buy all the gear, and once I've got my set of gear, that's that. And actually, you're much better off investing in education, investing in just practicing on your phone, whatever. Like, people invest in gear before anything else. And it's like, but you could still take a really crap photo and ruin someone's wedding on the best gear ever. And 100%. After a few years, people realise that, and photographers are all like, it's not about the gear. And it's like, I know, but tell yourself that from 3 years ago.
I came into the industry. I got a Manfrotto roller bag. Filled that bad boy with lenses and bodies, and as much as I could get in there. I remember getting rid of that bag and opening up the back pocket, and there was stuff in the very back that I'd never even remembered was there. I'd never used it. And I remember the day that my second shooter dropped my 70 to 200 on the concrete and it smashed. And part of me was like, oh my God. But then the other part of me was like, I didn't use it.
No. Exactly.
I don't think I've fit that lens up in a good year.
No, exactly. Like, I've got it down to like everything that I use now. I don't use it. I don't bring anything more. And it's all in a really small bag. And, you know, it's just, I don't want to look like the photographer. I used to have the roller bag too. I had all that stuff. And I used to take her umbrellas and stands and all sorts of things.
But it's like what you feel like you have to do when you first start out,
you
right?
Do.
Like what you gravitate to, because you think, well, that's what all the websites are selling. And I've looked on X, Y, and Z brand, and they've all got this roller bag, and they've all got this big professional looking thing.
It's about paring it down to what works for you. Like, what works for me is being in the crowd, being part of the wedding, not looking like a photographer. I go in like the bright clothes like this, you know, I want to fit in as a guest. I chat to people. I've got my little camera. I walk around snapping. And actually, we just bought a GoPro.
Love that.
Because for our wedding films, we thought it's much more our style just to walk around with a GoPro and hand it to a guest now and then. It's much more our style. So I'm getting smaller and smaller with all my kit. Like, GoPro is going to have like everything in focus. It's going to be very unprofessional looking, but I'm like, you have these realizations, and I'm 8 years in. I just had the realization that I'm like, I should be doing my films on a GoPro. Duh. Like, that's way more me than a romantic. Like, I bought a gimbal a couple of years ago. What was I thinking? Like, that's not who I am. So you just got to remember who you are and just, do everything, you know, around what works for you best.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm intrigued as to what your client journey looks like, because you're so focused on putting so much of you into your business and making sure that really your clients know you before they've even kind of stepped off your homepage. Anyone that hasn't looked at Anna's website, I highly suggest you go and do it, because whenever I'm having one of those moments as a photographer that I think, I don't even know what to do with my website, Anna's is the one I go and look at. And I go and look, and I think she's, you know, got so much of a personality in it, and she's written in this particular tone of voice, or she's got pictures about this, or it's just like taking that inspiration of, that's how a client should feel, like, oh my God, I know this person. And so from your client side of things, what does their journey look like with you?
Well, they find me normally on Google or referral. They come to the website, and I think, they just get a feel for who I am on the website, as you say. And the contact form I've kept quite friendly and light as well. And then they email, and I don't know, I kind of just email back. I was using, I'm on and off with templates. And like I say, obviously the Studio Ninja's got like an excellent template. And it's actually, the templates on there are excellent. They're really, like, they sound like everyone's voice. They sound really natural. But I tend to just go in and literally type out whatever I'm thinking at the time and whatever level of enthusiasm I'm feeling, because it feels more natural. Like I do email reviews for photographers too, and I'm doing one today actually, and this email that I'm reviewing today is long. Like it's long, it's got every piece of information. There's nothing that's clearly written for that couple.
Yeah.
And so I bosh out just a few sentences just for that couple. I tell them what I'm excited about what they've said, any sort of things any comments I might have on what they've said. And yeah, normally just get them on a Zoom, and that's about it. I try not to give too much information. It's just information overload.
Do you find that your email is more of a relationship building technique?
That's it.
Zoom is where you impart all your information about your prices and things.
Yeah, that's a really good way of saying it, because a lot of photographers do just send off everything on the email and they're like, why am I getting ghosted? It's like, well, you've told them literally everything they could possibly need to know. So yeah, it's a relationship builder. I sometimes don't send prices. They don't ask for a price, I won't send them a price. It's on my website anyway. It's just about starting the chat. I want them to feel like we're just friends. I'm like, oh, hey, it sounds really exciting. Oh, yay. Yippee, we're free on your date. I'll say something maybe about the venue, and then be like, I'll say to them, the way we get our photos is that, for the fun photos, is that we make sure we get on really well with the couple. So do you want to jump on a Zoom and we'll just have a chat, really low key, just to see if we get on. And then we do. So then we'll get on the Zoom. And funnily enough, this interview that I did with one of my members yesterday has changed how I'm going to do my Zooms with my clients.
Oh, right.
Until now, it's been about half hour, 45 minutes of just chat. So we'll just talk about life, talk about their wedding. We'll show each other our cats on the screen or whatever. It's very, very low key. And they ask a few questions and they say, what else are we supposed to ask? And I was like, honestly, nothing, because this is just to see, how well we got on and that we like each other and stuff. But after the chat yesterday, I think I'm going to, because it's about upselling. And he upsells everything on the Zoom. He shows them everything. He shows them a gallery. He shows them a video. So I think I'm going to actually do a bit more of that now, where I'm like, okay, now I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm going to show you some videos. I'll show you an album. So, make it a bit more of a business talk as well.
Yeah.
So we do keep it really light. And then, I send them my booking form, and I keep everything easy as well. So the booking form's online. The contract is just literally a tick button. They don't have to sign anything or anything like that. And then after they've booked, I send them a little card. So I've made these cards that are really on brand. I designed it in Canva. And I write them a little handwritten card saying, really excited about your wedding. Let me know if you need anything. I'll see you on this date. And that's that, really. We'll add each other on social sometimes. We'll chat on social. We'll sometimes play Word with friends. I try to keep it really, really friendly, because honestly, over the whole COVID thing, it's taught me a lot, because a lot of photographers are like, oh, my couples are screwing me over. Oh, they're trying to cancel. They're trying to do this, trying to do that. They're throwing the book at me. And I'm like, I only had one doing that, and it was the parents doing it. Everyone else has been like, we'll work around you. We really want you. We'll pay you now. Like, this was last year. All this stuff. And it was just so nice. And I'm in constant contact with them. We chit chat. We talk about all sorts of things. Yeah. I'm on their side with it all, and they're on mine.
Yeah.
And some of them just call me up for a chat, and it's just like I hang out with them. I'm meeting one of them tomorrow before a wedding I'm shooting, just to hang out. I just treat them like a friend, because I treat my business like a business, but I treat my couples like friends, because they just treat you better that way if they see you not as a pushover. So don't treat them like a friend, I'll give you anything you want, but more like we're chatty and friendly, and you don't want to screw over your friends. So everyone's just been so nice to me, because also going on social media and stuff, I'm always showing my face on Instagram stories, and they see that I'm a human being. So that's sort of a really big part of it, just being human, being friendly, and just keeping it really sort of low key and just friendly, basically.
I love that. No, I think that's really important. I think, as there's so many different styles of running your business, and I definitely think that the people that are more corporate out there and that run their business as, a brand business name, and they don't necessarily see the person behind the business, I think it's really easy for couples to forget that actually there's a human being behind that that's probably going through a hell of a lot right now. And, scrap COVID, take it out of the equation entirely. People have lives, it's good, I think, to see who that person is behind their business and around their business as well.
Exactly. I've never had a couple message me and be like, why haven't you replied to my message? How dare you be out having... I've heard of couples say to photographers, I've seen you're out having fun. Why haven't I had my wedding photos yet? Why aren't you at home editing my photos? You're out having fun. It's like, wow, okay, I've never had that, because I've always shown pictures or videos of myself out having fun. I've really advocated having a life.
Yeah.
I'm always in contact with my couples anyway. Like if I feel like the photos are gonna be late, I'm right on it. I'm like, I'm really sorry, I have to, I'll tell them. I don't just ignore anything. And you know, I'm upfront and honest and open and human, and they treat me the same.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. So I'm going to ask you a really difficult question now, because you're a bit of a guru when it comes to inspiring other photographers and giving other photographers advice. Who inspires you?
I love this question. I thought really hard about it, because I thought, I don't know who inspires me, but actually, do you know what? Todd, my boyfriend, reminded me of who inspires me the most in my life. And actually, it's this woman called Lou. And her Instagram handle is Lou in Luland, just Lu. And she's from Brighton. She lives in Portland. She is a stylist, I think, so she's not a photographer at all. Because photographers, I don't know, I don't want to be inspired by other photographers. She is out there. She's rude. She speaks her mind. She shows videos of her at CrossFit. She dresses like this. Like she lives her life how she wants to live it. And she's so cool and inspiring. She's 50. She's selling jumpers now called "I'm a fucking ray of sunshine" or something like that. It's just like she's just like, whatever, I don't care. She's married with kids, but she's just so unashamedly herself. And I've always been the same, but I saw her and I was like, yes, I love what she's doing, and other people love what she's doing. And I'm like, I'm going to be even more fearless. So I say the word fearless photographers inspires me too. Like the actual photographers, they really inspire me photography wise, but it's the fearless people who are living their lives, like not caring what anyone thinks. Yeah. She really inspires me. Go and have a look at her Instagram. She's so much fun, and you'll be inspired too. You'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna live my life how I want.
I'll look at her after this, as soon as we jump off here. So Anna, if you can add one final piece of advice, maybe something that's made a massive difference to your business or your personal life, what would that one piece of advice be?
So I wrote this down because I thought, I don't want to miss anything. It's a sort of mixture of things. Just be yourself, be authentic, be nice, be human, give yourself time off, look after yourself. Like I've learned all these things over my career, and like I take time off every day, sometimes a whole day, sometimes more than a day. Even if I've got stuff on, I know that I'm not going to do my best at something if I'm wanting to be out in the sunshine. We're self-employed for a reason. Like, don't lock yourself up.
We forget that, don't we? So many times I myself am guilty of it. So many times in the past years, I've been chained to this desk, editing weddings because I've just shot 3 back to back, and there was 2 the weekend before and 1 the weekend before that. Yeah. And all of a sudden I just see this list of backlog, and I just have to get through it. Yeah. And I glance up out the window and it's blue skies, it's glorious sunshine. I can smell barbecues from the neighbours, and I'm sat here at a desk, and that's a cracking point. You've got to remind yourself that you're self-employed so that you can work for yourself and take time off.
Exactly. I mean, I totally advocate that, and I still feel guilty when I go out and do stuff that's not work. I still do. But I do remind myself that whenever I do take time off, I have these little epiphanies, these little light bulb moments that being out in nature, being not at my computer, my brain is freer to think of things. And I'm like, I've just had this great business idea. I've just had a great way of doing this thing in my business. And I would never have had that if I'd been chained to my computer doing work. And I've even started this little mini project. I call it the Boredom Project. It's from a book. I think it might even be called the Boredom Project. But like taking time off every day to sit there and do absolutely nothing. And every time I'm like, oh, I forgot to do that thing. And I never would have remembered if I'd just not been sat here. Or, hey, I just had a really great idea that suddenly just came to me. Just literally sitting there doing nothing. Like
it's your brain the space to breathe.
Yes.
Just be.
That's it. So I think my biggest piece of advice is just look after yourself, take time for yourself, be mindful, be cautious, be sort of nice to yourself, nice to others, be human, show your real side online as well, and don't forget real life. And
love that. Perfect. So if our listeners would like to find out a little bit more about you, Anna, how can they do that?
Well, my photographers website is kickass.photographers.com. So you'll see on there, like the course, I've got the membership. There's a Studio Ninja's special price for the membership. So you can get 20% off with the code NINJA. And that's called the Kickass Collective, the membership. You can see everything on there. And there's my wedding photography website, which is annapumerphotography.com. So yeah, you can see all the sort of colourful madness of my website on there.
Definitely head and check out Anna's website. You'll just be like, website of gods, looks incredible. Feels so, and especially if you're watching this on YouTube, Vimeo, or on our blog, and you're physically watching this video, if you should go to Anna's website now, you will understand why right at the beginning I was like, yes, Anna, branded clothing, branded living room, everything is on brand.
That's the thing, like, it's not even I live my brand, that's why. Like, it's not even I've thought about it and thought, how do I design everything? I just like colourful things and patterns, so I've just brought it to every aspect of my life.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It has been such a pleasure. I've learned a ton. I'm going to go and overhaul my website in the next few weeks and inject some of myself into that website. But yeah, thank you again for coming and joining us and giving us so many good tips.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hopefully we'll be able to catch up soon.
Yeah, fab. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks, Anna. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye. Okay, guys, that's everything from me today. Thank you so much again to Anna for joining us. That episode was jam-packed with so many good takeaways, so I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it. If you'd like to see the show notes, you can head to www.studioninja.co/episode 31. Please don't forget, as always, to rate us on the podcast platform that you're listening on. A little bit of love goes a very long way. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of NinjaCast, brought to you by Studio Ninja. Beautifully designed and super easy to use, Studio Ninja will help you manage your leads, clients, shoots, invoices, contracts, workflows, and so much more. To learn more or start your 30-day free trial, go to www.studioninja.co.